Bad boy.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? You have tuned in live to the Flyest Sports and Entertainment Podcast in all the land. This is Stat Lines Matter. I am your host, Mark E. Stewart, and as always, sitting here to my right is my partner in crime, Mr. Rob Hunter Jr. How are you doing today, my brother?
That's a good question. These damn gas prices got me not doing okay.
Yeah, they up there.
And it's a constant reminder. Every time I pass by a damn gas station, I'm looking at over $4. Like, bro, and I'm thinking to myself now. See, before when the war started, I was just like, man, this stuff needs to. Who do we need to win for the gas price to go back down?
That's a good question. I have no idea. I remember a few years ago, I was living in LA at the time, and the gas prices were well over $5, and it used to cost me $120 to fill my tank up. And then when you're in LA, you drive a lot more. So it was like $120 every 2 or 3 days.
Lord have mercy. And then you
so
get
we
premium.
Still not there yet.
You getting premium.
Oh, yeah.
You've been in the premium life for a minute.
Yeah, I've been in
the gas prices ain't phasing you.
I've been that 93 life since 93.
I've been 93 since 93.
Since 93,
See,
bro.
y'all little peasants, you know what I'm saying, having to step
I'm not trying to be funny. I didn't realize people still use the 87.
I put 87
so you told me the other day.
Yeah, because I have an 87 vehicle that I drove here, and I have a 93 that we try not to drive at all. So now
in this moment, you got to make a business decision.
God damn, messing with the Christmas presents.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's funny.
College fun and stuff. So I mean, everywhere I'm like, man, it's $425. Okay, then $460. Man, I'm like, God, dog. So I'm yes. So the point was, I was driving over, I was getting vexed, and then I started actually. Unfortunately, I probably don't think about that. You know, the war as much as I should, outside of the civilians being hurt. You know, obviously you don't want that. You don't want anyone passing, but we're feeling the effects of it over here at the gas pump. And I was like, what is going on? Who needs to win? Anytime
there's a sort of a world event like this, it affects the markets. Excuse me. It affects this is gonna sound super extra, but my banking guys coming in to talk about the market.
Yeah, they send you emails and stuff like, don't panic.
Oh no, I've been getting mad emails, and now they like, we're coming in, like we want to sit down, and I'm like, look, I'm not taking the money out. We'll ride it out.
Yeah, relax.
Yeah,
but this is not I get email like, we're doing a call to market call and stuff, and I'm like, I don't think about it but enough to take it out. You know?
Yeah, but to the point, what they don't want is a lot of panic. And,
sure.
And there are a lot of people who panic.
But when they panic, now we're having a daggone CNBC podcast. Yeah. When they panic, that's when it's time to buy.
Absolutely.
You know, because stuff is on discount.
If you got money, like run it up.
Yeah, like our listeners. We know.
Anyway, when we get into this, as we get into the show, just real quick, just kind of a sports nugget, and I want to touch it since you brought up the gas prices in the world issue. Shout out to Brittany Griner and her family. I know it's a really tough time for y'all because she's in behind enemy lines. If you haven't heard the story, she's in Russia, detained on what seems like a bogus charge. She's been locked up for like 3 or 4 weeks at this point. So I don't know what's going on there. I haven't really been following it, but hopefully they'll get her resolved really quickly.
Free Brittany.
Yeah.
For real. Over some hash oil.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It seems a little bit bogus.
Well, it's bogus because she play over there all the time. It ain't like this the first time she didn't try to sneak. If she tried to sneak the oil in there, I mean, and so it's like it's a bit of the pettiness that is that has become our relationship between Putin and those guys, man.
Yeah, that would affect me wanting to go.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, like I ain't really mess with Russia like that no way outside of Michael's Stranger in Moscow. I like that song, but outside of that, I ain't really messing with. Oh, and the vodka.
It's so funny because we'll get to that.
What, you don't like Stranger in Moscow?
No.
You didn't like Stranger in Moscow?
No. I skipped that.
That's a great song. And the video's dope. How does it feel? How does it feel when you're
Why
alone?
are you talking about Moscow?
I'm just talking about that's the only time I like Russia was when Mike did.
No, I'm not asking you. I'm asking why is Mike talking about Moscow?
Because he was actually in Moscow and he wrote that song when he was in a hotel.
He need to go back to Gary and write what they write in Gary, because that shit was better.
He didn't write nothing in Gary.
Well, sing what they were singing in Gary.
I was going to Kansas City. I mean,
yeah, wherever he was coming up with Beat It and Billie Jean, and Remember the Time.
Wasn't that at a record plant?
Yeah, then he need to head back over there. Anyways, I don't know if you saw it. It had come out. We had known about Deion Sanders' foot issues, and that he was having some trouble. He missed
since he was playing.
Yeah, no, it goes back. The turf toe goes back to his. I guess it essentially ended his career, slowed him down, and then I guess he'd always have issues with it. And when he's coaching Jackson State, he missed some games.
I didn't know that. He missed actual games?
He missed some games.
Because I knew he had the scooter.
Yeah, and then he got the scooter. Well, it turns out during that time, things had gotten so bad in his surgery that with blood clots that he ended up having 2 toes amputated that now we know about. And he filmed it much like Kanye did when he broke his jaw and all of that. They filmed it for his YouTube show that's powered by Barstools.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, so however you may feel about Deion Sanders, you got to respect the man for letting the camera come in, letting you see his toes get cut off. Like, because I don't want nobody filming me sneezing, much less, and so to have, particularly someone who's known for what he's been known for the majority of his life is his speed.
Yeah.
So to that's his calling card. It's been his feet, it's been his legs. So for him to allow, I mean, there's probably not a more revealing, vulnerable moment than to allow cameras in there during that time. I mean, you'll never ever. Obviously, we'll never see him play again. But I mean, as far as running and the things and the quality of life that you used to have, I mean, I just was like, you say whatever you want, but that part right there is that's pretty brave of him to allow cameras in there.
Well,
because I'd have been crying. I mean, you couldn't see my toes off.
I think part of it. I think it's dope that he wanted to share, but it was self-serving. I mean, nobody made him do it.
Yeah, but ain't there some limits to that?
I mean, clearly not for him.
I mean, there's got to be some limits to the self. Like, hold on, time out.
But nobody was like, "Yo, let us get this amputation." He was like, "Are you sure?" No, he was like, he's trying to bring attention to himself, so that he can continue to elevate what he's doing at Jackson State.
But that's why I said,
and this is part of it.
But that's why I said, regardless of how you feel about it, it takes a whole different level of bravery to do that, because it's one thing to film yourself
or vanity
giving a kid a scholarship.
Yeah,
it's one thing to film yourself giving the guys a pregame speech, or letting the camera crew come in when you have Gilly in there and you got Terrell Owens and all these different celebrities. But when this little piggy went to the market.
I mean, I think it's vanity. I think he's prime time, and he's like, what's more prime time than toe removal?
But that's like a porn star, like letting the film crew come in while he getting his Johnson cut off. Like you ain't never gonna see me stroke no more. Like, this is it. You ain't never gonna see him run.
Yeah, I don't think that's the same.
But this is what he known for. You a porn star. You known for putting it down.
He hasn't been known for.
He known for taking it to the house. He never gonna take it to the house again.
But he was never gonna take it to the house again anyway.
But now it's guaranteed.
No, it was always guaranteed.
It's a guarantee now. His toes is gone, and he filmed it.
He wasn't going. No
Johnson in the trash.
No more touchdowns.
No more toes.
It was already not going to be no more touchdowns.
But now, but if there was ever a chance.
But now there was no more touchdowns.
There was ever a chance.
There wasn't a chance.
You just don't know.
That man older than me.
Hey man, you see what LeBron doing? He just scored 50-something the other night.
In a one-game winning streak.
So if you need one play, maybe Prime could have came in and gave it.
Nah, it ain't one play.
Hey, you trying to tell me if Prime came out the tunnel with the smoke doing all just for one play?
I'd be like, we going at him. I'd be like, if I'm coaching the other team, I'm like, we going right at the old guy.
Hey, I don't know. Prime one. I mean, now, it's
before that, before the toe. I'm still going at him.
I may consider
I'm
going at him now.
All 50-year-old corners.
Because they mess around and get some new prosthetic toe in there that could be better than before.
Hey, for him, I hope just from a quality of life standpoint, but you believing that there was some opportunity for him to come out of the tunnel?
I forgot that he was with Kenny's ex-wife. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Tracy.
Yeah, Tracy.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, we definitely wish Prime a...
Yeah, Prime, man, like, get all the way back, give yourself a chance to get completely healthy because we, the team and the boys and at Jackson State down in Mississippi, they need you for next season.
And you're right. I mean, this is probably going to be talked about for the, 2-3 days? So it's just more pub for...
Oh, no, like, that's what I'm saying. It's serving the program.
And then when the first game start, everybody going to see how's he getting around.
Yeah, and then don't let him at some point do a little dance, and you know he only got 3 toes on that foot.
That'll be so
and he
lit.
doing a little like,
I'm on my good foot.
Yeah,
I'm on my good foot.
That's gonna set him up.
Yeah,
that's gonna set him up. You already know.
Pretty pumped.
Come on,
to see Prime. He do the old 2-step after he scored a touchdown.
Well, you know who's gonna be there to possibly see him in his first game back because he's not going to be playing is Mr. Calvin Ridley because he's suspended for all of next year for gambling on the NFL.
Yeah.
Now, the story, as I understand it, is this guy had taken, and this is your background. This is your hometown guy. You tell this story.
Look.
We in your hometown.
Look.
We talking to your people.
Look.
Calvin played for your team.
Look.
Well, set the table first. Let the people know exactly what happened if they don't know.
Apparently, while he was away from the team on his mental health break or anxiety or whatever it was, apparently he placed some bets on an app that included the team that he played for. So he placed, I believe it was 3 wagers.
It's a parlay.
On 3 different parlays, and the Falcons were a part of that on the surface. But see, to me, this is just appearances. I think there's something a little bit deeper going on here, okay? I think there's a deep state, and I think that this is all a part of Nick Saban's plan to subvert the great year and the great state that Georgia been having, starting with the Braves championship bookending, okay, with the University of Georgia beating Alabama. And I think that he detonated this in order to try to bring, a little bit of sadness to the state. That's what I think. You got to really think about it now. Calvin really working as a double agent. Don't the Falcons
bring enough sadness to the state alone without the help of Nick Saban?
Well, you would think that.
Don't the Hawks bring sadness to the state and the Water Boys?
You would think that, but you got to think about the Hawks. You got to think about the Hawks. Okay, the Hawks went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year.
Yeah.
They kind of went on the same run about this time when they fired Lloyd Pierce last year.
Yeah.
Went on that run. So not so much with the Hawks, especially after beating the 76ers, which no one expected. But I think that this could be some sort of subversive plot by the Crimson Tide and Nick Saban. That's what I think. I got it on good authority. I'm not ready to take that to the masses just yet. Who that source is, but anyway, I mean, I think now. Let's just say that's not the case. Let's say that's not the case. You actually. Let's just say that he did it on his own. That's the amount of stupidity that it would take to actually place a bet on a phone, on a damn phone.
Yeah.
With your own team that you play for, I think even though if they was to win, to lose, whatever, to do that on a phone where everything is trackable.
Yeah, and they're very clear that this is against their rules in the NFL. Here's the thing that's interesting. They suspended him at the minimum for 1 season.
I think he's lucky.
Right. But see, here's the problem. And actually, I can't take credit for this, but it did make Molly Quorum made me look at this. Yesterday, or this week, I'll say, because it wasn't yesterday by the time this airs, is International Women's Day. And she brought out the point on the show that in the bylaws of the NFL, crimes against women don't get these type of suspensions. Assaults. Like Leonard Little killed somebody.
Dante Stallworth.
In a drunk driving accident and was suspended 8 games.
How long was Dante Stallworth suspended?
I don't remember.
But it was a similar, he killed somebody in Florida.
Greg Hardy beat up a woman, had a 10-game suspension.
Slammed on some guns.
Reduced it to 4 games. Ray Rice, originally 2 games. And then they ended, when the backlash happened, it ran him out the league. The question becomes about the NFL, where are their priorities? Because he bet $1,500. He's going to lose $11 million. All those other guys, Tyreek Hill had an assault against a woman in college. He had 2 domestic situations involving his son twice. Mm-hmm. None of it prosecuted because obviously if something is against a 3-year-old, he can't testify. And those cases got dropped. So I'm not accusing him of anything other than what was
but
out.
Did you hear the tapes?
There was an 11-minute tape. And if nothing else, I think it's chilling when he said to his wife, I think the wife said something to the effect of, your own son is afraid of you. And his response was, you should be afraid of me too.
Yeah, and with the expletive.
Yeah.
Behind it. And so we know that what we do know is that he has been violent. Now, to the degree, who knows? But it's interesting is when you watch him run down the football field with that ball in his hand, scoring touchdowns, it's like nobody cares. Nobody cares. Yeah. It just all goes away.
And I think,
and you think about what Michael Vick did to some dogs.
Yeah.
Lost 2 years of his career.
Yeah.
But Greg Hardy can do what he did to his lady. You look at Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
That's on film. Him kicking a woman.
Yeah.
He ain't lose 2 years.
Yeah.
He kicked her while she was already on the floor.
Yeah. So I'm saying this. I'm not trying to relitigate those cases, but I will say that.
But her point.
Yes, she made a great point, and it didn't get the play that it deserved, and maybe we can uplift it here a little bit on our platform. The NFL needs to look at what they prioritize. You're going to suspend someone, and all this fake rage. I hear all this rage in the media. I listen to a lot of sports talk radio, obviously the guys on TV, and everybody's like, he maybe get life and this and third. And I never heard anybody, I didn't hear as much conversation about lifetime bans of other guys, particularly if it was thought that they could still play. Like, everybody was cool to let Ray Rice go because he was averaging 3 yards a carry at the time he beat his woman unconscious in the elevator.
Yes.
But if he was averaging 4.2 yards a carry,
which Kareem Hunt was somewhere around,
then it would have been like, well, he can still play, and second chances.
We shouldn't cut a guy's career short.
So all I'm saying is, from the point of Roger Goodell, I ain't even talking about the media. Just from the NFL, they need to reprioritize what's important to them in terms of the optics, and maybe stand behind issues dealing with women a little bit more and balance that correctly with whatever gambling is, which you're now like snuggling up to the world of gambling, which I have no problem with. I gamble. I've been gambling on sports for 25 years. So I'm familiar with the world, and I don't want the games to be in question. I don't want the integrity of the game, but I think it was an overreaction.
But they need to holler at Stephen Ross then.
Exactly.
I gamble a lot, and I lose most of the time, so I'm not your guy.
I had a really bad season this year.
Yeah, I ain't never had no good season. I'm on the worst run of DFS that I've been in my life. But anyway, that's not the point is,
I know.
The NFL
very quickly.
Yeah,
I had a bad beat, man. I can tell you about
the NFL is just it's all basically it's a PR machine. And what they do is and you know this, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, probably the majority of our listeners, they pay the most attention to basically what the biggest fires from a PR standpoint.
Right.
So if this fire is bigger to the audience,
right,
then they'll pay more attention to it.
And it shouldn't be like that. And the thing is, I think issues involving women should be elevated. So maybe that's saying something about society.
Yeah, crimes against humans.
Yeah.
Period would be particularly against children and women.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
I saw women go harder about what Mike Vick did to the dogs than they were about what's actually happened to women.
Yes, and with leather shoes on, like you had with Peter, but you got on some boots. Okay, all right, then run it. However you resolve that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so that situation is still gonna play itself out. I think he should appeal and he should get less games because I don't think that this is a Pete Rose situation where it's like
no, because he managed the game.
Yeah,
so Pete Rose was managing the game.
And it was overtime because I think that Pete was probably betting.
He was running it up,
and when he was playing.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, like you know what I mean. Like I think this was a guy sitting at home who was not participating and probably bored and just doing whatever.
No, it was a bonehead move. And when you put it like that, I may reconsider because I was like a year. I mean, only a year. I thought that was pretty.
Well, just because we're trained to go gambling.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true. Maybe I was a victim of that.
Yeah.
Of that a little bit, of being that. But I think because you know what it feels like, given the way that he did it, you could see that it seemed like a moment of just a bonehead
right.
mistake. It doesn't seem like
he wasn't trying to come up.
Like he doesn't have a guy.
He doesn't have a guy, and he didn't put like $100,000 on like
Mayweather bet.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like he bet $1,500 and he lost $11 million. That's a money line for your ass.
And so now, how is that gonna help his mental health?
Yeah,
NFL.
Yeah, that would send me into
a tailspin.
Absolute tailspin.
I'd be out here like Antonio Brown.
I teased it earlier this week. This Aaron Rodgers signing.
Bread.
I almost don't want to talk about this because I don't like him.
What did he do?
What did Aaron Rodgers do?
Yeah, you don't like him.
What did he do?
Yeah, what did he do for you not to like him?
He plays football?
Everybody plays football.
Yeah, but he plays football in Green Bay.
Do you not like Devontae Adams?
I don't like Devontae.
But you seemingly don't like Aaron Rodgers more.
He's been damaging me and my family and my friends and back in Chicago for a lot longer and more.
Oh no,
more impactfully.
Yeah, he definitely has had the Bears.
But I don't like Devontae.
You don't like Devontae?
Nope.
Devontae was very friendly to us in stat lines when I met him at the Super Bowl. Very friendly.
Good for y'all. I hope y'all have a long lasting relationship.
Yeah. I think the funny part of it, I thought for a quick second, right?
4 years, $200 million.
We talked about 153 guaranteed.
Yeah.
I thought about
what's the circumstance in which he doesn't play the last year? Like, oh, you're just not measuring up. Yeah. Like he's gonna get all that money. It's a little bit of slippage.
I think, but it was funny because when Tom Brady they were talking about him retiring, and at the time there was some tepid conversation about Aaron Rodgers retiring, and I remember thinking to myself, "There's no way he retires. There's no way. Like all them damn stats and one ring, like there's no way a guy with his you can't be in the party and just be with Brad Johnson and Trent Dilfer. Like, I mean, you can't, not with his resume. He doesn't feel like a Brad Johnson, Jeff Hostetler, type of quarterback.
Well, he's not that because those guys don't have those numbers.
I'm saying they got one ring though. That's the one ring part. You know what I mean? You in there with you in the party, but you got pat down before you came. You ain't come through the back.
He in there with Brett Favre.
Yeah, you didn't come in there with Eli Manning and Peyton and
he in there with Brett.
Like you came in like you ordering your drinks from the regular bar. Yeah, you don't have a waitress.
Listen, that's the only saving grace that we as Chicago Bears fans have is that they got one more Super Bowl than we got in the modern era. And they've had over 25 years of Hall of Fame quarterback play.
Oh, yes. Yeah, for sure.
Straight.
Yeah.
Uninterrupted.
Yeah. And now it looks like Devontae is about to get paid.
I mean, they'll get it. Yeah, they franchised him.
But they were already $27 million over the cap before that. So there's no way they're going to go into the season $47 million over the cap. Which the franchise tag is somewhere a little over $20 million. So he'll get his deal done. And, you'll have freaking Frack back in Green Bay.
I just hope that they're strapped with cap problems
But obviously they will because they're not going to get under the cap, I don't think.
Man, I pay very little attention to any of their inner workings. I just want them to lose.
Want them to go away.
17 games in a row. Like, I want them to lose every time they get on the field. Whoever they play is my favorite team.
But wouldn't it be lit if they won 15 games and the 2 losses was against y'all? That's how I felt.
I mean, if we can beat them, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
which one would you rather have? 0-17 or 15-2?
15-2.
Yeah, yeah. That's how I felt when the Panthers went on their run the year that they went to the Super Bowl. Their one loss was against the Falcons.
Yeah.
So, and that was the end. There was the last game where they could go for perfection.
Yeah, they could have won.
And we took a big fat bird dump on their season.
Yeah,
which was lit.
Yeah, look, I just always want to beat Green Bay. Like that all feels different to me. That's a rivalry game.
Yeah. Would you rather beat Green Bay, or would you rather beat Green Bay twice, or would you rather the Nets win a championship?
That's a good question. I'd rather beat Green Bay twice. It's Chi-Town forever for me.
Yeah.
Like, all the second team, like the Nets and Steelers, that's great, but never at the expense of, like, who my team's rivals are. Like,
and then it would be lit if Justin Fields was, like, the reason, he's playing well. Because when you get the quarterback right, it makes everything else.
No, that was always the case in football, and now it's more extreme. If you don't get the quarterback right, you're going nowhere.
Sure.
The Brad Johnson days of winning the Super Bowl, the Jeff Hostetler days, the Trent Dilfer days, over with.
You know what's interesting about Jeff Hostetler? He's actually got 2 Super Bowl rings, but only one as a
starter. Yeah.
And so, but when I was doing our research, I was like, he got 2 rings?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the 86.
Yeah.
And they beat Denver.
Yeah. Nah, you can't have that anymore.
Yeah.
That game manager, play defense stuff, like that's a wrap. You got to put points on the board.
Yeah. Yeah. And then even in the days now where you look at like, oh, okay, this is a dominant defense. This defense they're still giving up points just the way the game is played.
Yeah.
The way they're calling offense.
Yeah. Like if you can hold a team under 21.
Oh,
that's a good defensive
what?
game.
Yes. Yeah. Under 21.
Yeah. That's a good defensive game. Like, but that's the problem with Chicago. And not so much the front office, because I think the new GM gets this. Our fan base is still like, we got to run the ball like back in the days of Ditka. And it's like, listen, we got to put the ball up.
Yeah, yeah.
What we need is a good offensive line to pound the ball. We need a Matsui. We do not need Matsui.
We need a Brad Mustard.
Yeah, like mustard. We don't need none of that. Like, we need some guys that can catch the ball and run. We need guys who can run routes. As much as this week's the combine was about guys who were fast, when you look at Cooper Kupp's 40, you look at certain guys, you look at Jerry Rice, historically 40 times don't translate to high end wide receiver play
at all. It rarely. I mean, you look at who we got. Guys got like Hakeem Nicks, I think, ran a fast 40 time. The Raiders had a slew of guys.
Yeah, like the Raiders always got guys that
ran super fast 40 times, and Ashley Lilly, I think, was one of those guys. And it never. I'm always scared of fast 40 guys. Because it just seems, I had a coach say, man, it's just you go the wrong, if you're fast, you're not running the right route, you're going the wrong
that
direction
way faster,
real quick.
Yeah, no, 100%, and I think that the ability to get open has to do with setting up receivers, leverage against the corner, understanding what body position he's in. It's a very nuanced thing.
And spacing, right?
And it has very little. You want to be quick.
And then coming out of your break, coming out of your route. How you come off the press.
Yes.
How do you use your hands? When do you use your hands to go for the ball? Like all of those things. How do you break your route down? What are you selling?
Now, if you can be fast and have those skills, then you're gonna be tough to deal with. But we see it all the time. There's guys that run 4.6s that, Cooper Kupp, tore the league up.
Yeah. Yeah, and you because normally the fast guy has been getting by on I'm fast.
Right.
They hadn't had to really develop, those other parts of their they haven't had to develop route discipline.
Yeah. And I think it's underrated that is one of the most important elements to even developing a quarterback is guys that can run routes and get open because they know how to do those things, whether it's Kelsey, who's really good at it as a tight end, Gronkowski, another guy.
Kittle's all
another
the white
guy.
guys that have to use their brains.
Well, they're certainly not the only ones.
Had athleticism.
Your man Antonio.
Let's just put it on out there.
But your man Antonio Brown he's not a burner.
No, but from what?
But a great route runner.
But he was like the fastest too. I think he was like the fastest in and out of his breaks in the league.
Exactly.
Something like that.
A very polished route runner.
Yeah. I mean, Antonio Brown is that guy. Once he put the helmet on, it's just when he takes it off.
Oh my God!
He should have his helmet on right now.
And he might. The thing about him, he might take it off at any point in the game.
No. And you need to just like lock his chin strap. You need to make it so.
Coach, this is stuck.
I can't get it out.
I can't get it out.
It's like you literally have a thinking cap. It's like when he's like, "Oh, put your thinking cap on," he actually has.
The other big story. The other big story this week was my man Russ.
Yeah,
Dangerous is taking his talents to the Mile High City.
Yeah,
in a big trade. I mean, I think if you're gonna trade a quarterback, they got to haul 2 firsts.
I don't think they got anything.
2 firsts, 2 seconds.
It's like really 1 first because you got Russ, right? So
okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But what they gonna draft?
I'm saying they gave up 1 first because you got Russ back. So you got your pick for that first, and then they got.
But what I'm saying
a
is
first round pick.
But they didn't trade a first.
No. I'm saying no. They got 2 firsts.
They got 2 firsts
and
2 twos,
and then they got
a 5th and 3
players.
players, including Noah Fant, who's a pretty good player.
He's all right, but they ain't a tight end away from going to the Super Bowl. I think.
Yeah, but you might be a 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and
no way. For a
33-year-old
they're gonna
quarterback.
have a tough time replacing.
Of course.
I mean, because that's all they had in Seattle was Russ and Starbucks.
Yeah, but you gotta look at it
That's
like
it.
this. You gotta look at it like this. If you're gonna trade a quarterback and you know that relationship is gone as far as it can go, I think they came out with a nice haul.
Yeah, but that's their fault. Like you got Russell with one of the most affable, well-mannered and quarterbacks in the league, one of the most accurate passers, and he's still, and it's not. And the thing about Russ is that he's not like a guy who uses all athleticism to. He can stand in the pocket and deliver. And I think that when you start to look at this feels like when Peyton Manning joined Denver, when Matthew Stafford went to the Rams. This feels very much like because they were closer. I think they're closer. I think they are a quarterback away from making their running game was
They got
great
real running backs.
with the kid from North Carolina, Javonte Green, and Melvin Gordon, and then Jerry Jeudy, Patrick, and Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, they got they just got to. I think it's easier to find a tight end because, like I said, Noah Fant was pretty good.
He was all right. I mean, he was cool. He was better than average.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think a lot of his production was tied to the fact that they've been very average at the quarterback between Drew Lock
and they got Drew Lock
and Teddy Two Gloves.
I just think when you
had very
Seattle,
average players at the position.
Like now you ain't got Russ. You just got the coffee and the rain.
Well, no, what it is?
Go back to just rain.
Listen, I'm not trying to. Listen, I'm not a Seattle fan, and I'll check in.
And then they ain't even got no top on their stadium. It's just gonna be rainy losses.
Are
you drinking coffee? That's what I'm saying. So it's gonna be,
but it
be rainy. Yeah, but y'all was winning.
But what I'm saying is,
when Russ come out there, you got a shot.
If you're gonna, their key to winning when they won before was they had draft capital. They built through the draft. All those guys were homegrown.
Feds.
So they determined, and I think smartly. Sometimes people get nostalgic, but really when they got rid of Russ, I think he was the last, and they cut the linebacker today.
Yeah, Wagner.
Those are the last two
who negotiated his own contract
and had a nice deal. I think he was making $16 million.
Yes.
But those are the last 2 guys attached to their Super Bowl. So they're in the full teardown.
Yeah.
And now they like.
But how long you ain't close.
But that's the thing. You know how you get close fast? The draft.
I mean, okay, but there is what quarterback in this draft?
But they're not playing for a Super Bowl this year. They're tearing down.
You got that right.
So they got the 2 firsts from them, and they have their own 2 firsts in those 2 years. So in the next 2 years, they're gonna have 4 first round picks.
Didn't they trade away 2 firsts for Jamal Adams? I mean,
they got him back. And David Putney. Give me back my 2 firsts. Hey, and David Putney.
You gonna have to give me more than that for dangerous.
Listen,
and then you get thinking like, okay, so he had to, and I think that Denver got him at the perfect time because I think they bought low, right? I think that they didn't give up enough, and it was because of the thumb injury. Yeah. Right. Because they could say, okay, because if he would have won, 13 games, it would have been. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah. And I actually heard somebody yesterday go, describe, and I think somebody even in the comments on our IG was like, he was a flash in the pan. And I was like, so then I just started pounding him with stats. So here's what Denver's getting. 292 touchdown passes, 87 interceptions, 65% completion percentage, 102 quarterback rating, which, and to give that perspective, for guys that have played 10 years or more, it's Aaron Rodgers, then Russell Wilson.
And then
it's so active, just for context, Mahomes is the highest. Deshaun is second. Aaron Rodgers is third. But they don't have as long of a career.
Right.
But for 10 plus seasons.
Over a decade.
Now understand, just for context, this is all time. This is higher than Peyton Manning. It's higher than Drew Brees.
But it was a flash in the pan, though.
Yeah, but he was a flash in the pan. This is what Denver's getting. I think, and maybe this is to the point you're making that they didn't give up enough. I think some people don't understand how good this man is.
Right.
Very low interception guy. Even when he throws double digits, it'd be like 11 or 12. More times than not, he's under 10 interceptions.
And I think with the receivers that they have, one of the best deep balls in the league.
Yeah.
And during this offseason, Sierra gonna bring him down here, cut Creflo a check, and Creflo gonna pray over that thumb.
They never be in Atlanta.
And you just can't just roll up on Creflo. So she gonna cut that check.
They never be in Atlanta. People love to romanticize Sierra's time in Atlanta.
She gonna bring him down here to Creflo. Creflo gonna lay hands on that thumb, boy. And then
where's Creflo?
Creflo down there in South Atlanta. What close by where she from? They gonna pull up at World Change. She already in Cash App them probably. So
I'm not touching.
Because you can't just go by Creflo's house and knock on the door. Pastor, can you pray for me? You can't just pull up on Creflo. So you already know.
Look,
he gonna stick that thumb through the gate, and Creflo gonna pray for her. Hey, and then he gonna go back to Denver, and it's gonna be on and popping. Like, hey, Creflo paid over it. I mean, Sierra, I guess he knows him apparently. How he talk.
Apparently he doesn't talk like that.
Apparently she knows him pretty good. Right over my thumb, and it's as good as.
I'm not.
He moving it around while he telling him.
I think he's like, with some time to heal,
I wasn't even able to move it that far before,
and perhaps some prayer from whoever his pastor is.
It's different when it come down south. That prayer different from a southern pastor, man. I'm telling you.
Anyway,
he may even open the gate if she cut a check big enough. He may open the gate and let them on in there.
Exactly.
Come on in, Sierra.
But yeah, I know on a good authority they excited to be heading to Denver, and I think if you're a Bronco fan, you got reason to be excited. And I think for my Seattle folks, it's a rebuild, it's a teardown. So you have to look at what your next 2 drafts look like. You're gonna have. Like I said, 2 firsts, 2 seconds in the next 2 years.
The AFC West is real.
The AFC West.
So Justin
is really good.
Herbert, Pat, and Russ and Carr.
And Carr's numbers have been much better than what people.
Carr not bad. No. I mean, Carr. Whenever the Raiders win, you're not like super surprised.
And the Raiders had statistically, if I'm not wrong, Raiders had a top 5 offense last year.
I think they did. But I mean, you look at is there a conference better or division better than them 3?
No.
So you got
them four. I mean, the Raiders went to the playoffs.
So you have.
You're counting the Raiders out. They were a playoff team.
You have 4 Super Bowl appearances and 2 wins between Mahomes and Russ.
Yeah.
2 Super Bowl MVPs, 2 league MVPs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty fire.
And got a rookie. Wasn't Herbert offensive rookie of the year?
Yes. No? Yeah, I think so. We could check that though.
So, yeah, I mean, I think they're definitely the best division. I think they took that away with – because Seattle got significantly weaker. I think you could have made the argument that the NFC West was that.
Sure, with Kyler.
Yeah.
And Matt.
Kyler's got his own issues with his team, and they got to figure that out. We'll see how they do. But they should have a it should be interesting to see what San Francisco looks like with their new quarterback, too.
Well, yeah, and I want – apparently Deshaun is trying to work his situation out. If he do, just come on to the Falcons.
I think he's been working it out. That's the problem. He was working his situation out.
Come on to the Falcons.
In front of the massage therapist. Or asking him to work his situation out. I think he needs a little bit less of working his situation out.
Hey, well, look at here. If you come to Atlanta, there's a lot of places you can work your massage out and all that.
And nobody gonna say nothing.
Nobody gonna say a word. And it's all, hey, look, we consensual. We looking for consensual situations. Consensual massage. Consensual massage. I think, and you look at how old is Deshaun? Deshaun, what, 26?
Yeah, young dudes.
I mean, I don't, and so when this trade, I don't going over, when this trade first went down, I'm like, what? How come the Falcons ain't do that? Like, I'm looking for reasons to jump back on. And the Falcons just refuse to make any moves that will make me jump back on. I mean,
y'all in a rebuild.
Yeah, to put it. Yeah, and we ain't even got no receiver.
You have one receiver on the roster. I saw that.
We got one. We got
because
one.
I think Justin Gage.
We don't even have receivers.
He's Justin Gage?
He's a flanker. He's a flanker.
The one guy you got Gage. I don't know.
Yeah, Justin Gage, number 83. Yeah.
Yeah, he's is it Justin?
Yeah, it is Justin Gage. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a free agent.
So
I don't even know who the receiver is, but you have one receiver currently on the roster.
Well, I'm available if they want me to come on up there.
Yeah,
I know the way, y'all. I know you just hit me. I can know how to get to the flowery branch.
Switching gears real quick here to NBA.
Oh,
so a couple of things that happened. You alluded to it a little bit earlier that LeBron really played one of his greatest games. And I don't want to overstate it, but I just thought it was a masterful offensive game. He had it all going. I think it was a big game. The opponent was big. The stage was big. It was the feature game, NBA, ABC Saturday night game, which is now kind of their feature game of the week. And home crowd, and he went nuts. 56 points, had the 3 going, hit all the big clutch shots, put the team on his back, won the game. That was a great performance. I think the issue, and I think every time, and I know there's a lot of unreasonable Laker fans that think every time they get a game, like, now we about to go on the run that's going to take us and we're going to propel ourselves to prominence. And then the reality sets in that, 1, the team's not very good. 2, LeBron is 37 years old and had to sit out that next game with that knee that's barking more than it used to.
Yes.
And as good as you can keep yourself in shape, and he does, absolute. The stories are legendary about how much money he spends on recovery. You can't replace knee ligaments and things and stress and strain from all the basketball he's played his entire career. And we're seeing that. So they played a game against the Spurs, a team that that's below them, which is hard to believe. It's hard to be below the Lakers. They are below the Lakers and still found a way to beat them without LeBron, without AD. So they were severely hampered in that game and dropped that game. So in a stretch where you had to have, I think it was like a 3-game stretch where Spurs, Rockets,
you weren't counting
Wizards.
the Golden State to be a win, right? You were counting all that.
No. I'm saying that was the win.
I know.
And I'm saying you're looking at that going, we just had a big win against
flipped,
the top
right?
team.
Yeah.
against a top team, and then you're going to
like,
play.
Okay, we're gonna get the Spurs.
We're going to get the Spurs, and then we're going to get
play.
Exactly.
He's gonna put that back to back, and then
you're going to get the Spurs. Then you're going to get the Rockets. Then you're going to get the Wizards. Those are 3 winnable games.
The late because he was a late scratch.
Yeah,
like later on. Not like up to the minute, but
like
a couple hours before.
And it changed the line 6 points.
Yeah, and I was like, and so for me, that was the big red flag about his knee. Yeah. Because before, like, okay, he's always questionable, but he always plays. I'm questionable, but I'm playing. He playing questionable, play. And then you saw, after you drop 56, I ain't never dropped 56 before. But if I did drop 56, I'm going to be ready to play the next game.
Sure.
I'm going to be super excited to get out there. And you know the way that he competed against Golden State, that he was, probably after, while the adrenaline was still pumping, he's like, probably looking forward to playing the Spurs.
Yeah.
But
the whole team had to be energized.
Oh, for sure. And you see him not take the court, and at least that was for me like, oh, this is real.
Yeah.
And so I think you can, as much as I want them to rise like Lazarus, it's not gonna happen. Because that ain't going to that was the time to go ahead and get that other win and get another win, and like you said, try to.
It was a chance to get at least 4.
Try to and then get that momentum going.
Yeah, 4 winnable games.
And with every win, you're buying time for AD to come back to play his 2-3 games and get hurt again. But you're buying that time, and it just never materialized. And then you go okay. This is what I'm thinking. I'm like, all right, if this is a game, particularly the opponent, right? The San Antonio Spurs are one of the last, if not the last in the league against point guards. And so you got Westbrook. Oh, this is your triple-double game. You haven't had one all year. Mm-hmm. This is your opportunity to come in and have a vintage Westbrook performance. And again, he wasn't able to do that. Got into it with some fans. Hey, Russell Westbrick is one of the funniest names I've ever heard in my life. I didn't even know they was calling him that.
Oh, they've been calling him that for years.
They've been calling him Westbrick for years.
Yeah,
Skip.
Skip done hung that chain on his neck like the Rockefeller chain when they gave to Kanye.
So when I read that, I was like, that's so funny. I never knew that. And so you see the footage of him going, hey, don't disrespect my name.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's the gig, bro. Like, you making $40 million a year. They're not calling you out your name. They're not doing anything racist. They're calling you Russell Westbrook because you brick. But then I was thinking, I was legit. I was like, man, he could go on to like be a general contractor. Like Westbrick, we build your house brick by brick, brick by brick,
Wow.
And you show him missing the shots, like, we do it old fashioned, brick by brick. But I think, but having said that, I'm looking at his reaction to the fans, how sensitive that he is, right? And this is just good old fashioned, because the fans have gotten out of hand before with him. Yeah. But this is good old fashioned rubbing, right? Ribbing. Well, rubbing.
Get
like
your mind out of the dirt.
But anyway, sorry. But you go, that's been his problem. Because what you saw was just the symptom, if you will. You saw but that's underneath. He has to be sensitive to the misses, sensitive to those things. And because I guarantee you, if we went into a gym with just Russell and you watched him shoot, he probably look like Curry. Just by himself.
Just at the LA Fitness.
Yeah, sure. LA just shooting around.
Yeah.
But he's thinking too much.
Yeah.
Because there's no way that someone calling you Russell Westbrick should affect you.
No.
But you're watching, I think, what's been his problem in every place that he's played.
Yeah.
And it's been the not being able to compartmentalize and really have that laser focus the way that some of the better players around the league have been able to do. I mean, that should not he had to get the referee to come in between him and the fan for them calling him Russell Westbrick. That's like, what are you doing? That's like ninth grade stuff.
And look, you know me, I've been on Russell. I've been one of the people who's kind of questioned whether even the what is it, 3 seasons of triple doubles, if that even meant as much as what people tend to try to say it does. It's an incredible statistical feat, but I don't think it ever led to any wins. But the one thing that hasn't happened is that we haven't seen LeBron, who fought to get him there, just tweet, come out and say, listen, man, Brody, play your game. Don't worry about it. You haven't seen as the leader and the guy who has done this and who will get on his Twitter say, look, don't listen to that, man. We got your back. We doing this. we rise, we fall together. Haven't seen it. It's been very quiet.
You always make
LeBron.
your way back to just.
Well, we're talking about the Lakers. We're talking about the Lakers. Look, he don't play. He doesn't play for the LeBrons. We're talking about the Lakers, are we not?
But LeBron has done that. But LeBron has done that.
Refresh my memory. I mean, maybe
there was an interview where this was a couple weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, where he said, I told him to keep shooting it. I told him to keep, basically a vote of confidence to keep, because he said we're going to need him basically, coming down the stretch. It was a game of, where he was hitting the construction again.
LeBron's like, we're going to need him to get his stats up so I can trade him. So I can trade him in all season.
Yes, before the trading deadline. But you just telling him, like, keep shooting it. Like, don't think about it. Just keep shooting it,
Okay, so. Then I stand corrected. But I think that, because I saw.
But I don't think he should have said that. I think he'd be like, Brody, chill, son.
No, but to me, shoot or not shoot ain't really the issue. I think when it gets to the point where
he brings the ball,
you're getting when you're getting death threats, your family's getting harassed, and we could debate whether or not his wife should be in the middle of it.
Who? What? Who getting the death threats?
That's what they said.
Who's getting death threats? Who?
Westbrook.
He's getting death threats?
That's what I thought I read.
That's what I thought I read?
Yeah, I could be mistaken, but
no,
I think it's crossed the line with people. You know how people get on Twitter.
And his wife?
Yeah.
Going at his wife?
Well, because his wife had a public beef. You saw the public beef with Skip.
Nah, I didn't see that.
So she basically went at Skip and said, look, you're not just going to be disrespecting. Yeah, you're not going to just be disrespecting my man.
Hey, she need to know. She should have went at her husband and be like, you got to toughen up, man.
Or at least you just got to straighten that fucking shot out.
Yeah, one of the two, right?
Like, just get your elbow in. Like,
somebody tell
him that.
Yeah.
Like, get your elbow in and stop coming across your face.
I think calling him Russell Westbrick is perfectly in bounds.
Yeah, I mean, for the amount of money he's getting and for the fact that that's the nature of professional sports. That's
and
the
you
game.
be bricking. Like, it be, or you know what? Just start knocking them down. And they can't say that.
Yeah, like, because the crazy thing is, even from a shooting percentage standpoint, he's not, I think there was a point, and it might still be there, where his shooting percentage is actually better than Curry's.
What?
Yeah.
Like, at where?
There was a moment.
What are you saying
Hold on,
to me?
I'm going to check it.
The sentences that are coming out of your mouth.
Listen.
I would have never. Hey, I thought I was going to hear a lot of things on this show today. Westbrook shooting better. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, like, first of all, the death threats. I ain't know that. I ain't know that his wife was into it with Skip Bayless. Yeah. And I didn't know that he was shooting better than Curry at any point in his whole life. Like,
or they were shooting similar numbers.
Curry did go through a slump.
Yes.
Okay, he did slump.
So,
but I would rather have
shooting. Russ is shooting 43% from the floor.
That's bad.
And
that's like Iverson levels.
Steph is shooting 43%. They're shooting the exact same percentage from the floor.
They're shooting it. So hey, we're back. They're shooting the exact same percentage from the dadgum flow.
But see, this is one of the things that's interesting.
Everybody gotta be quiet now.
No, because you know what it does.
Like, man, I'm shooting.
But you know what it does is his misses are awful. First and foremost, his misses look very bad. But when you play with LeBron, it's easy to get scapegoated.
But he's shooting way more threes though, and that's why the percentage is like that.
Of course.
For Curry.
But I'm saying just in a basic generic sense.
If I was Westbrook's homeboy, I'd be like, man, tell them folk, man, hey, me and Curry shooting the same. You know what I'm saying? You like the way Curry shoot?
Yeah.
Then you gotta love the way I shoot.
Yeah.
It ain't me,
No, it's not always the stats. That's where the stats can lie, because he's still 18 and whatever.
Yeah, and then I'm sure that Curry's turnovers are much lower. And all that good stuff. But yeah, I mean,
Russ is 18.
Hey, shout out to Russell Westbrook.
Russ is 18, 7, and 6.
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
18, 7.
And we're killing him.
we're killing him.
The world is killing him.
Westbrick.
Yeah, the world is killing him.
Brick by brick. Contracting.
Yeah.
Brick by brick.
And that's why, if you're Russ, I'd be like, look, I ain't gonna say nothing.
Well, yeah. Well, yes. And like I said, I don't understand why why are you at the fans? Why are you doing, like, you have to be able to, you trying to win a game, dog.
Yeah.
And you win the game and you shut the fans up.
Yeah, you absolutely.
You shoot better and you shut the fans up.
Yeah.
And particularly, like, you think about Deontay Murray is not a great on-ball defender, going back to what I thought. So I thought that Westbrook was going to be able to play downhill.
Yeah.
And be able to get to the normal at the rim, high percentage, field goal attempts. I thought he was going to do it so much that I played him in fantasy that night. I played him in fantasy and he didn't deliver.
Yeah, that goes into the bad DFS you've been having.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, hey man, look, if we could have I need to talk to somebody about, I need a shrink.
Let's do a whole show talking about your DFS.
Yeah, we could do that. Well, it wouldn't be a very uplifting show.
No, but like we can get into all your theories and like, hey, he gonna play downhill and then he get 10 points and 2 rebounds. And 2 assists.
Okay. So a little bit of nerding out, just a tad. What I didn't anticipate was they're playing DJ Augustine a little bit more, and they should. If they want to win, but they're playing. And I was like, gosh, what is this? So they have DJ Augustine bringing the ball up, and Westbrook playing the 2, and I was like, they ain't gonna win like this. They're not gonna win like this.
Vogel,
Frank mother freaking Vogel. So I'm watching like he's running up. Westbrook run like he Bradley Beal or somebody.
Yeah. Like, let me get it on the wing so I can shoot this 3. No. Lastly, KD.
Holy smokes.
KD's back.
He is back.
Seemingly nothing's changed. I don't know. It's like, as someone who likes Brooklyn.
You like Biggie. You like Jay-Z.
Brooklyn in the house, all of that.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I don't see it happening. Like, maybe next year. I just don't think it's enough time.
Okay,
and this is KD. KD didn't play well against
Charlotte,
but the first 2 games he came back, he was like,
and they lost.
Picked up right where he left off, and they lost both those games.
But I think okay,
and 1 and 2 in his return.
Right. They're 4 wins in their last 21. And they lost 11 straight at one point.
Yeah.
But okay, what we've always said was, KD get back and Kyrie on the court together, they got a shot.
Yeah. And
you saw a little bit of that last night. Obviously, before we came on, we were talking about the night that Kyrie had. And I was thinking, man, if I'm KD, after that game, I'm walking in the locker room, I'm gonna have the syringe with the vaccine in my hand.
Yes.
I'm giving you.
Yeah, you're gonna get vaccinated.
Yeah, like, hey man, enough of your shenanigans.
Yeah.
Enough of the, it's my body and all. I'm going, hey, Blake, lock the door.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna stick you.
Or just bring a doctor and like you're gonna get this.
No, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I gotta do it myself. Cause this is what, and I know that Charlotte's not the best team. I realize that. But that don't matter. You got a guy that can drop 50 at any given moment, and no one's gonna go, oh wow, he dropped 50. Like they're gonna be like, oh, that Kyrie can do that.
Yeah,
he can go off for that.
He gave it to him.
KD is a guy to go, oh, he dropped 50. No one's gonna blink twice.
Yeah.
You got 2 of those guys on the team.
Yeah.
And you got one guy that's out here on some other stuff, and I know there's some people like, oh no, hey, look at here. I don't know, I don't know what's in the Ed McMuffin. Okay, I just know it tastes good.
Yeah.
I don't know what's in the vaccine. I just know that, the numbers are down. You okay? So come here. I'm going to stick you. I'm going to stick you with the and I know that it's a championship in here, potentially.
Listen, I don't think
you just run up on him and you just,
I actually think
against his will.
I would say this.
What are you going to do if you stick him? What are you going to do? What is Kyrie going to do?
I don't think you can do that. I think
I'm saying, what is he going to do? No, hey, nobody going to just don't leave the locker room, right? Locker room is sacred. Locker room is sacred. But ain't nobody, if everybody say no, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what he's talking about.
And at this point, too, I will say, I don't even know if Ben Simmons, I don't even know what to make of what's going on.
Hey, look, I read the headline that Ben was making his return, and I got hype, and it said to the bench. And I said, Lord, I almost smashed my laptop.
Why can't he play?
Like, why are you? Let me tell you something. And I was thinking about this. I was like, man, you know what? they say, yo, he out of shape, right? Out of shape, whatever. If Brooklyn called me tonight, I can give you 12 good minutes. Now, I'm not saying they're gonna be effective minutes,
right?
But you're gonna be like, hey, that Hunter out there, he hustling. He's out there hustling. I'm gonna play my way, and I'll play my way into even more better.
And
how come he? Because let me tell you something. I know wherever Ben Simmons at, he in better shape than I am.
And not only that, I'll keep it in the context of actual NBA players.
Well, not me,
not you. Part of the issue.
What's wrong with me?
For me, still is this.
What's wrong with me?
There's nothing wrong with you. You're just not an NBA player. I think the thing that's amazing is like Ben.
Cold water.
I'm not throwing cold water. I'm just saying Ben.
Okay, wet blanket.
Is even for 10 minutes, still gives you an elite defender, a plus passer. And so while you're getting back in shape, within the game that you're going to be playing.
And developing chemistry, yes.
Yeah, within the game you're going to play. It's not like he's swimming and then going to come. Like, get back in the game and play basketball.
And why aren't you, and I asked the question on the other part, why aren't you already in shape? What have you been doing?
Well, you know, the one thing I will say, not to make an excuse, but I'm assuming we're talking about basketball shape. We're talking about.
What else you been doing?
But the question that I say is, what better way to get into basketball shape than to play basketball?
Then get some run.
Get some run in an NBA game.
In an NBA game.
But this so brings me to my last point, and then we got to close the show out. I'm frustrated, and I don't want to be I'm the old head, the OG, but I will go full OG on this one. I feel like in the era of Magic, Mike, Larry, those guys, and the list goes on and on. Ewing, all the guys that Mike defeated and vanquished. Reggie Miller, Karl Malone, Stockton.
All the dreams he crushed.
Gary Payton. All those guys.
Crushed.
I feel like those guys.
Did Gary Payton win a championship with the Heat?
With the Heat. Yeah, he won a championship with the Heat.
It's weird. So did Shane Battier, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, never mind.
But the point being, it's like I hear KD all the time, and I love KD. I'm a big KD fan. But I hear him all the time when it comes to stuff like what's hurting the team. Oh, man, you got to let that man, that each man got his own. That man's got to do what he's got to do. That man's got to. And there's a lot of that.
I can't speak on that.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to say. And there's a lot of that around the league. It's not just KD, but it's like, oh, man, that man's got to do his business and this, that, and the third. I think there's a point where you have to leave that business at your business manager's office, and when you come to the team facility, it's got to be about basketball. So I think Kevin Durant is well within his rights to go to Ben and say, dude, we need you on the floor. I don't know what you're doing. We need you. Kyrie, you need to reconsider. Or this is going to affect us.
Oh, I'm going to stick you.
Because that's why Harden got the hell up out of there. And I'm not saying that Harden is free of what this conversation is, but he saw the fact that there was nobody willing to say anything and to bring this team back together and said, you know what? The best chance for me to win is to get up out of here and to get with Embiid.
And that was the report coming from his camp. The report coming from his camp was he didn't like how Nash, obviously was managing the team.
Yeah.
He knew that KD was the leader, but KD wasn't necessarily leading. And he said they came to a head on how he was dealing with Kyrie.
Right.
That was the issue. And so now, obviously, we see a couple weeks ago, we were like, okay, whenever Harden comes back, he's been back, he's playing. And the Sixers seem to be developing their chemistry, and it seems to be going well. But he fits in there almost perfectly. The guy that I was kind of concerned about was Maxey, because he had seemed to be developing and coming along really nicely. But yes, to your point, you look at those guys, right? You look at the guys you name. You could Bird even towards the end of his career, when he was out of the game, was laying down on the sideline because of his back, trying to
find a way to get a few minutes
and trying to keep it going. You had Rodman on the exercise bike when he was out of the game, and the list goes on of guys who were just trying to do. And you got Ben Simmons, who
didn't Alonzo get a kidney removed and then go get a transplant?
Yeah, he did,
and then came back.
Yeah, I mean, you got Ben, who's 25 years old, talking about he out of shape.
Yeah. But aside from that, I just think.
Why are you out of shape? What you been doing?
I think Mike.
He ain't played in 9 months.
Said something.
He ain't played in over 9 months. It's people that wasn't on the earth that's on this earth now.
Yeah.
Since the last time he played. It's new people on the planet.
But who gets to say something to the 25-year-old Ben?
I think your point is right. Kyrie can't say nothing because he just be aloof.
But I'm saying, KD, because what's happening is.
But I always thought KD wasn't a good leader. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. I've always said.
KD listens. I think KD is one of these new guys, and LeBron too. These guys listen too much. They listen too much to what's going on. They all do.
That's true because for LeBron to talk about his respect on the night that he won a championship, you should just let everybody else talk about your respect. Yeah. Let everybody else talk about who you are, who you aren't.
Especially when you're capable.
You got the ring.
Yeah, especially when you're capable of dropping 56 at age 37. Nothing speaks greater. Nothing shuts the detractors up like me than a performance like that.
Right. It's kind of like just do it, Westbrick.
No, 100%. Like, because I was like, at that point, I was like, yo, I had to tweet it. Like, yo, my man got loose.
Super loose. But
but
yes, to your point, I think, I mean, you look at just how did it become that's that man?
Yeah.
Because yes, that's right. That's that man
when he's negotiating his deal.
Or if he work in marketing and you work, in another whole section. Yeah. But y'all work on a team.
You're side by side.
So what you do directly affects
that, and that's ultimately what you're saying is what my problem is. And I don't usually travel this pathway. Like the game was better when I was a kid. I'm not that guy. But the business is done when your contract is done. After that, we playing ball. And you gotta get on the court. And then the pecking order of who we are and what we are, Mike, Scotty, Dennis. Like, guys got it. Like, when Mike stepped on the court, Mike was a leader. And Mike would bust you in your head if you tried to get in the way of us winning. And I don't think that Mike was the only guy like that. There's guys like that. I think LeBron is like that too, just different. Like, he's not going to physically accost you, but he will trade you.
Yeah.
If he doesn't think you're helping them win,
but
he will get your ass out of there. And I actually respect that.
But it seems like that's not the case right now to what we thought it was. I mean, there's been a schism seemingly between him and Pelinka and the young lady that
because now nobody want to take responsibility for how this Westbrook thing happened.
So, but I guess they were, they just kind of like, hey man, and LeBron can't be like, I wanted to trade it. I wanted to do it. Yeah. But and the Lakers were seemingly not wanting to give up the draft capital in order to get rid of him. So
because they got to think about life after LeBron.
Well, yeah, okay, and so my whole thing with that has always been, if you go, like, what do you, life after what? If you win a championship now, isn't that the goal? We've seen teams.
But they weren't going to win a championship by getting John Wall and getting rid of.
Okay.
That wasn't going to make them a contender.
But the thought process should be, right, we came into this wanting to win a championship. I think that for me, at least if I'm them, I believe that if they find some footing, that's a team that won a championship, 2 years ago. Now, obviously, a lot of that personnel is different. Over, but I'm believing if I got a healthy LeBron and a healthy AD, that we got a shot with, if we can get whoever we can get. And so I felt like that was a miss on.
I actually think it was a smart play, if not a popular. Because here's the thing: if you can trade Westbrook and get,
I think you get rid of him.
No, of course you don't keep him. It didn't work.
Give me John Wall.
No, but trading your problem for somebody else's problem was not the answer. Change for change's sake was not going to make them a championship contender. Now, if you could have got a player or two that could help you, or if you could have got a player or two that'll let you create the cap, like some expiring contract, and somebody was willing to take that mess for some things that you could get out of there that created some space, so you can go and say, all right, AD, LeBron, we're going to revamp and add a couple of pieces for next year, then maybe. But those deals weren't on the table because Westbrook was an expiring deal himself. He had all of this year, and then he becomes expiring next year.
Right.
That's what made it complicated.
Right. So my thought process was, see, you saying they're not going to win a title. I'm saying this is.
I'm saying this year.
Right, and my approach would have been to the deal was, I think that we could. I think that we could. If you look at John Wall's numbers when he came back, at least with the few games that he played with Houston, everything. Well, the assist increased, and the points were relatively the same. So I think he's somewhere around a 9 assist, 10 assist guy per game. A little bit more efficient than Westbrook. I'm thinking maybe with a guy like that, a new jolt. Now, this is me looking at the glass half full. So you're looking
at it mostly full.
Well, yeah, but you're
like
not
right at the top.
But you're not making the deal based on we're not winning a championship. I would be making the deal based on going, I think we can get this thing turned. So my narrative or my premise on making the deal is title this year. And if you don't believe that John Wall could be the difference, then you don't make that deal.
No, first of all, I definitely don't think John Wall has never made the difference any place he's played. That's the first thing.
Yeah, but who he playing? He ain't been nowhere.
But he hasn't even had a Ja Morant type impact or Derrick Rose type impact where when you show up, the team just got better. He hasn't had that either.
Well, you know, I don't know what those.
Although I think he came in as a great skill, like he had amazing skill.
Oh, okay, so
and does he have knee problems?
Well, that was my question.
Yeah.
Like, how healthy is he?
Yeah,
you know how because obviously he was surprisingly explosive with the Wizards. If you look, so like that sneaky explosion, kind of like how Dwayne Wade had. Like Dwayne Wade be moving like kind of slow motion. The next thing you know,
he's like, he get up on you.
Yeah, how you doing?
But and see, that's the other thing too. Honestly, I never thought this composition of the Lakers was a championship team.
No, dude,
I never even thought it. I'm talking about fully healthy. I said it at the beginning of the year. I said, at the absolute best, this team is 4-5 in the West.
But you said that when they won the championship.
No, I said when they put this team together, I said, looking at the
you
team.
You say it every year.
Because of age. Especially at the time when they had Rondo.
Eventually you're going to be right.
They had no. I'm saying based on what I saw. Howard, Rondo, Anthony, Ariza.
It's weird, man.
Just those guys are 36 and up.
You out there looking at the court and you see Austin Reeves, Malik Monk, Trevor Ariza, Dwight Howard, and LeBron. That's something. I don't know what the hell that is.
But I'm saying even go back to the beginning.
But I'm
of the
talking
year.
about now.
But go back to the beginning of the year where everybody's high-fiving.
How did this happen?
Where everybody's high-fiving on the roster. It was like, I was like, wait. Y'all know that's Trevor Ariza. He is also in his 18th or 19th season. Like, y'all do know, like, he's played almost as long as LeBron.
They was thinking like we're gonna go swimming with them cocoons.
And then it was like Howard and Rondo and all those guys. I'm going, at whatever point you're relying on that collective and Carmelo, it's gonna go downhill. And so now you look at a team that's before I didn't even think Austin Reeves was on the active roster. I think
where did he come from?
Oklahoma State. He's a rookie.
So I'm saying they ain't draft him?
They did draft him.
So then he was on the team.
He was on the team, but not anything that any of us were thinking about because you didn't think he was going to play.
True.
But I think Malik Monk's been
I never even knew he was alive.
I think Malik Monk's been a pleasant surprise.
Oh, yeah, well, I talked about Malik Monk when he was with Charlotte.
Yeah.
Being able to hoop. And he has been probably the lone bright spot for the Lakers. Is that fair to say?
How do we explain the THT?
Taylor Horton Tucker.
How do you? Okay, let me ask you this because you follow this team, and I don't want to. You can say I always bring the shit back to LeBron.
You do.
Okay, I'm gonna give you an opportunity to bring it back to something. How do we keep seeing these guys who flash that have potential that regress? Ingram, going back there, Kuzma. And now THT. When they had him, because in key trades, they were like, he's untouchable. They did the exact same thing with him as they did with Kuzma. They had packages to make themselves better. People go, Kuzma's untouchable. Then they keep him, game regresses. Same thing happened with THT. In your opinion, how does this happen? Are these guys like overvaluated or are these guys not developing? Like, I don't even want to lead you into the answer. What is your opinion?
Well, when you look at Ingram, I think it's real simple what happened with him. He went to a terrible team where he was the number one option.
And he just got a chance to show.
Yeah, his minutes went from 28 to 37. His shot attempts increased. And he was running the point a lot. Even when Lonzo was there. And he still runs the point a great deal, even with Daniel Graham there. With Kuzma, obviously, no, I'm not saying obviously to you.
Because you were a big fan of Kuzma.
I am still a big fan of Kuzma. I think what happened was they brought in AD the next year, and Kuzma went to the bench because he was starting the year before, in and out of the lineup. And we always talk about him and Tatum, And then after the first 3 years, Kuzma's numbers were better. And then you bring in AD, who they play the same position, and Kuzma goes to the bench. Kuzma has a ring, though. I mean, just not for nothing. I'm just simply saying they won with that motley crew of guys.
Right.
Taylor Horton-Tucker really seemingly came out of nowhere.
Right.
A slasher guy, a good defender.
Can no longer hit an open shot. He looks lost out there a lot of times.
And
now.
I think, I think, and you want me to have explain that away. It's something that not right now I don't necessarily have an explanation for. I do believe he's a good player, just like, the rest of those guys. But I think that, I believe he plays the same position as LeBron. And a lot of times when guys come in, no matter if they're a rookie, and I think that's the biggest difference a lot of times when guys come in and they're not necessarily, they don't have the name, is they don't get the time to develop.
Right.
So if let's say you draft a guy like Ja Morant, and then you draft a guy like, somebody late in the second round like Sharif Cooper. Well, Ja Morant's going to see the floor. Sharif Cooper's playing behind Trae Young.
Right.
So a lot of times that development is stymied by just, where you got drafted, fans paying to come in and see Ja Morant, things of that nature. So a lot of times it's minutes, and I think that Taylor, I want to say his whole name all the time.
Taylor Horton-Tucker.
I think that, it's just a question of just being able to see consistent minutes.
Yeah, and I think part of the problem
to
is
develop,
No, and I think, listen, he played plenty, and then he flashed, and then he just hasn't been consistent with a lot of the same minutes.
And I think that one of the things that he was always able to do was
everybody can't play starter minutes.
He was able to get to the rim, and he was a really good finisher around the rim. Always able to get his shot up, off the glass, and when his jumper was failing, he was really good at attacking. Yeah. And when that went left, I remember the announcers going, "Man, what happened to Taylor Horton-Tucker's round?" I mean, he's like laying the ball over the rim, like too hard off the glass, all these weird types of misses, and a lot of times that's just timing, feeling, just trying to get in.
A lot of the Lakers be looking like they be playing the Monstars or something.
They are the Monstars. They're playing the Monstars. Monstars got all the power.
Yeah, they got the power away, because some of those guys, you just watch them playing and they just don't look like what they flash. Even your man, the point guard, the shooter, Monk. There's times when he doesn't look.
He get a little streaky.
He gets a little, like earlier, it was like, as soon as he was open, you're like, oh, I know this going in.
A little streaky, a little streaky. But I think that's the one guy I think who's adjusted playing with LeBron the best.
Right. Now, this team, it's crazy, but they didn't have to tear down the last.
Stanley Johnson be out
there?
there?
They didn't have to tear down the last two teams that LeBron
Thomas
tore down.
Yeah.
They got to tear this.
No, they.
This one they got to tear down.
Hey, so
this is a hot mess.
This would sound like a job for Westbrick construction.
Yeah, or deconstruction.
You gotta come in. You gotta come in and clear. We gotta excavate.
Yeah. Now this is a tear down, and you build it back around LeBron at 38. It will be 38 next Christmas. AD, still a young player, still a skilled player, but the best ability is availability. That's the problem with it.
Man, and I mean, now, like I said, LeBron.
Would you move him?
Yes,
you would.
Absolutely, I would move AD. I think they should have moved him by the trade deadline. Yes, I never said it, but it didn't dawn on me how clear it was until afterwards. Honestly, that wasn't something that I was thinking about. But now, I was like, they should have, because that's the piece you can move. That's the piece
that can get you.
Yes, that could have fixed this whole thing, and you may have been able to package him with Westbrook and move both of them.
Exactly.
And now all of a sudden, because everybody, AD still has a lot of value. He's still under 20 years old.
Under 30.
That's what I meant. Yeah, under 30 years old. And I think that he could have gotten you a lot of great pieces back.
Yeah.
So yes, I would. Yes, you absolutely. I've even thought about, can you, well, I guess you can't trade LeBron, but I'm just simply saying, like, from the Lakers standpoint, what can you get? Like, everybody's on the block.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Lakers have an interesting dilemma, because their box office they still the biggest national TV draw, still draw all the celebrities.
Because AD be over there, like, smiling. with it, and then like, and be like,
let me say this,
raising the roof.
Let me say this too, like
you 7 feet tall, raising the roof for LeBron.
His fits be dope.
It do.
He be having the
which
fresh
takes
braids.
time.
And it's like
you
man,
6'11".
Can't you rehab?
Why is your clothes that fresh?
Yeah, like you
6'11".
You got the fresh Balmain. You got the fresh Balenciaga. Like
everything fresh. You looking like Prince.
Yeah, you got the glasses.
You look like you Prince. Yeah, and you got your.
All he need is a little puppet. He look like remember Prince was in the dressing room doing the puppet, talking about the girls.
Puppet, yeah,
talking to the girls. That's all he needed on the bench. He looked like Prince.
Yeah, with his shirt open. Ridiculous.
Hey, well, anyway,
get the hell on.
Let's break there. We'll get back to
you can't be hurt and smile
and
that
fly.
big.
Like you should look grimy. Like all I do is rehab,
and you be standing up real fast.
Yeah, like
when LeBron do something.
I hate that.
You can't stand up that fast with a hurt ankle.
You know who do
my ankle been hurt before.
You know who been doing that too is Caruso. Caruso be on the bench, and we get on the run. He be on. I be like, well, get out there and play then. Like
with his bald head.
but he got a wrist, you know what I mean? So you can still
you get out there, just get in front of some people.
Yeah, I mean I guess he got a pin in it. I don't know.
Can you put like some bubble wrap around it?
I mean he needs to because he be like just give me the deflections.
Yeah.
You know. Anyways, well listen, that's it for this week. As always, just check in on the YouTube, Spotify. We can be reached everywhere on social media. Stat Lines Matter. We appreciate y'all listening. Appreciate y'all coming in, listening to us. Go around about this world of sports. We gonna keep talking because we gonna keep talking about all this stuff, and you do the same. Definitely check in on the comments. Let us know your opinions on the things that we've been discussing. So until next week, I am Mark Stewart. This is my partner Rob Hunter, and this is Stat Lines Matter.
Bad boy. I ain't come for games. Say it to my face. Say it to my face. I ain't come for games. Say it to my face. Say it to my face.